All right, we're back, and it's time for the final map of the night here in ESL Pro League Season 5, Week 3. It's actually final map of the week, if you think about it.
That is true. It is.
And what a fitting end here for the money train.
It is, and well, it's going to be the optimal chance for OpTic to kind of redeem themselves as well. Train in the past has been very good for them. They still have the same core of it. Obviously, the big missing part is going to be Stanislaw and his play on that inner bomb side, especially on their CT sides. But I think Train, if any map, should be pretty good for them going up against NRG.
No, absolutely. At this point, I mean, it looks like pound for pound, they should be able to kind of,
should compete.
Yeah, duke it out. I mean, in their own right, because of the current situations on both sides of the fence in the server as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of saw it on Cash. Neither of the coaches necessarily had too much of an impact, and that's what we kind of expected as well. So it's up to the remainders on OpTic to really step it up for Train.
Okay, so to walk us through OpTic and Train, it's going to be the Bears. Take it, dude.
Thank you. Time for some OpTic on Train versus Astralis. We're going to take a look at one of the rounds that OpTic really showcases their firepower by sending people majority through the 5 and Health or 6 lane, whatever you want to call it these days. So when they do that, kind of forces, Astralis playing towards E-Box. OpTic completely ignores it. Mixwell gets a pick. Astralis KJB kills Rush. But as you notice that OpTic is literally focusing on the sandwich, the hell, and taking control of all this area. And as you look right here, it's a 4-on-2, all right? They did good. The strat worked. They got entries. They got positioning. They're pretty much in the outside bomb side. They have 2 smokes, 3 flashes, a Molotov. They got an Opper. They can rely on him to pick. But here's the problem. Here's the problem without having an in-game leader, or at least a new in-game leader like NAF, is that you have to pick and choose when you want to make the plays. When you're up 4-on-2, you don't need to make plays. As you can see right here, Hiko goes on top of Train. You could get seen from like 10 different angles in bomb Train. Why would you do that on a 4-on-2? He gets picked off. This kind of makes Tark panic a little bit. He tried making play and pushing Ivy in the smoke, and he gets picked off by Device. A couple of these 2 costly mistakes went from a 4-on-2 to 2-on-2 against one of the top teams, or the top team of the world right now. You cannot make these kind of mistakes. And as you can see, Mixwell, he tries his best. He doesn't win the round, and OpTic horribly loses this match and the tournament. So kind of take away from this. Pick and choose your battles. Pick when you want to make these kind of playmaker plays. And when you're up in numbers, you don't need to go above and beyond to make a play. Just have nice spacing, go for 1-for-1s, bait each other, do whatever it takes to kill the opponent, but just don't try to hop on trains or run through smokes when you're up in numbers. Just it doesn't work against top teams, and hopefully OpTic will clean up some of their mess. Back to you, Stana.
Thank you, Eric, per the usual. Now, with that last map, we see both teams shift to a 5-and-2 standing here. This is a pretty big map in terms of like going forward. Oh, yeah. Is Train going to be a good one for that?
I think it should be, and I'm actually going to favor OpTic going into this as well. Partly because of what Eric just showed us there on the telestrated, the fact that you can have pretty simple strategies that can work, and I think as long as OpTic is allowed to do that, they can do that with the core without having to worry about Peacemaker necessarily doing a whole lot, and they should be able to work off of that.
No, absolutely, and they're having to play with that, obviously, so it's kind of like catering to or playing around it.
Yeah, exactly. So keep it nice and simple, and see where that takes you initially, at least.
100%. So, real quick before we throw it over there, give me a prediction.
Well, I'm actually going to side with OpTic. That's what I had my headset for before we got into the first game. So even though very dominant showing by NRG on Cash, I'm still going to side with OpTic on Train.
No, I think you might have the wise choice here. Maybe they woke up and maybe they'll be able to take the fight to them. Right?
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, at this point, is there anything left?
Not really anything left to say. I think it's time to throw it over to our casters.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they want it.
Maybe. I mean, they're looking pretty excited over there. You can see they all smiles. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so to bring us this last map of the night, and it's going to be Train between OpTic and NRG. It's going to be Blue and Dazed. Take it away, you awesome fellas.
Detta psyched us out there when he said, I think it's time to throw this over to the casters. Both was like, oh, time to get ready for that one. But
yeah, I was ready for about 2 minutes, and then Trace is like, is there anything else we got to talk about? No. I think we're good. All right, but yeah, I don't know about this one. The problem with OpTic is, I was talking with Vendetta at the break, is that, you know, that stand kind of played enter for them, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about it. So who's going to play enter for them now, right? Where do you put Peacemaker on Train? I think Train is one of those maps where on CT's side, you know, we saw OpTic struggle on Cash. But I think Train is one of those maps where it's hard. It's a lot harder on Train, in my opinion, to just like hide somebody and try to make somebody who's not really at that level be able to perform at this level. So I don't know, man. I'm going NRG here. I thought that was a dominant performance by them. I think Professor Chaos is a lot better of a fill-in than Peacemaker is. So I think NRG is definitely the favorite.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
I think that
But having said that, you know, a couple of those swing rounds, if they don't go NRG's way, if they don't win that P250 round where they barely spend any money, if they don't win that second round, you know, and then I think even when they were on CT side, didn't they? No, they won the CT pistol, but didn't they lose? No, I don't remember. But there was like 2 swing rounds that were huge, right? That could, you know, definitely change the makeup of that match.
Well, they won the original second round on a force-up.
Yes.
And then they took a little bit of control there, and then they had the second one. Those are like the 2 big ones, I think. The second one that happened in the middle of the second half.
Yeah, that was pretty back and forth, but I mean, they won a couple swing rounds, right?
Yeah.
So Fugly looks like he's going to be playing inner for NRG. PTR is going to be on the rotator spot behind Pop Dog. Dies to mix while the Z Smoke comes out, so they can get pushed up close, and Fugly doesn't really have any backup.
Marky being able to chime in with 1 kill, but for the most part, it's OpTic executing them here. Breezy will look to change that, but he does have quite a few players to deal with. There's a headshot out of nowhere, though, on the Peacemaker going down the ramp. He'll be able to take him down. After everything is said and done, this is now left to Tarek alone, where previously was all OpTic controlling the situation. 2 CTs moving back in, one of which has a kit, so they have extra time to play with here. They know where Tarek is. Tarek finds the headshot against Marky, but now the smoke rolls in. It's over top the bomb. He did see Professor Chaos going in. Professor Chaos is going to stick it. Tarek trying to knife around here, but did Professor Chaos see it? Oh no, Tarek continued to go for the knife, and now the time has gotten so low, but I think with this kit, he might be able to do it, and he will. Energy upset on the pistol round, and they'll take control again.
Wow. What was Peacemaker doing, though? He just runs down lower ramp. Look at this. Look at low ramp.
Seeing this one here, and in a second.
Watch. Look. He just runs down with the Molotov, just full sprinting. What? Why? That was hilarious. That was like a suicide Molotov cocktail, like something you'd see out of like a crazy movie or something.
He had the carried in. He had one job, and he did it. He wants it to stay alive. His job was to get that Molotov on the ground.
No, that Molotov was to play for post plant, and then if they don't have a smoke, you just automatically win the round. But he just flies down.
Well, as we get back into the action of the second round there, the worst thing is that Molotov was going at a weird arc. It might have actually gone into the smoke, too, that was there.
I have no idea what that was, man, but that was hilarious.
All right, well, it's 1-1 initially, as they do have a bit of a scrap outside of T-Con here. Rush has a chance for another one, though, as he tries to line up against Professor Chaos, but Professor Chaos really decides to kind of not take that fight currently. He actually is going to swing around the other side, going through the old bomb tunnel there, and Tarek is kind of lurking here, too. They want to resurge out through T-Con here. Professor Chaos, though, now ready for it on the side. It's dangerous, though, as they did spot him, so they know he's here. Gets 1, gets 2, and there's a third that's already been damaged a little bit. It's Peacemaker, losing 20 of his HP in that battle. Professor Chaos only losing half of his, and Peacemaker really doesn't know what to do with himself, waiting for Tarek to regroup so he can kind of safely push back out and make sure there's no one watching to his right side. So he's allowed to do that, but Professor Chaos waiting over here. Oh, apparently didn't expect Tarek to come after the bomb train there. So a bit of a surprise, but Marky's up in heaven still, so he's going to find these last 2 frags and solidify the round for NRG.
Yeah, 3K by him. Professor Chaos comes up big with that 2K at Ivy. And not only that, I mean, he pretty much, won the pistol round at the end there. So Professor Chaos doing a good job here on train, and we're seeing, a little bit why he was, even though like on CD side he didn't have that many kills on Cash, like positionally speaking, he was playing properly. He knows how to play CS at a high level, right? And he's been there and done that before. So you're not losing that much with a stand-in like Professor Chaos, like nearly as much as you are probably with Peacemaker. Just running down, throwing bullets.
This nade actually that was tossed back out from, I think it was other mark here, Peter, did actually some pretty massive damage.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
full damage on the Nap and Mixwell there. 60 and 45 is what they end up with at that. Tarek also gets tagged here too, trying to cross back on the trains. 2 for 2 originally though. Peter finding both and now a third as well. Professor Chaos getting a fourth. He does get traded off by Peacemaker, but Peter again, he does actually have a pretty massive round there, 4K. Where OpTic had forced into that one, so that essentially was the first gun round. That's NRG again that do take control of it.
Yeah, 4K with just an ump and a pistol. I think he had 3 ump kills right here. For some reason, did you see how it's shooting up top there?
Yeah, that's
muzzle flash.
Yeah, that's a weird bug.
Is that just on GoTV or do we see that first person too? Because I've never noticed it.
Pretty sure that would just be GoTV.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure though.
Well, now OpTic, pretty much a full save, a couple deagles on Mixwell and Rush, and they're going to try to get the bomb down inner. Maybe going down upper, we'll see, but Fugly's there, so, and Fugly's there, and this is smart, right? They have 2 umps and an MP9, and the MP9 is upper, right? So say he dies after he kills 2 people, hopefully, for his sake, right? And they don't have a flash, so I think he probably will, and they get that MP9, what are they going to do with it, you know?
Well, they do
As
take
I say that.
they do take Fugly down here. Peter, though, waiting inside of the bomb train. Do they suspect him? Well, no. Gets 2 kills before going down to Mixwell. Again, primarily Deagle's doing all the damage here for OpTic right now, but it has given them a ticket onto the site and to get the bomb down here. Post plants where it's going to get tough, though. Mixwell being able to trade out 1 kill after Marky pushes forward here to eliminate Rush. Mixwell hunting again, but burning in the Molotov there. Nap with 1 more. It's actually down to a 1v1, and Breezy whiffs a little bit here on the first spray, but he's got control of the bomb right now, so he's able to get to it. Nap pushing back, and he actually wins it out after recovering the UMP. So OpTic somehow steal that round away, and we're up 1-3 now.
Yeah, after Fugly went down, I mean, they're coming out from upper and lower. Pete, I think he ended up getting 2 kills, if I'm not mistaken. But still, a 3v3, and they can get pushed up in is a tough task to ask for if you're a CT, and they end up losing that round. But my point about the MP9 was, like, even though Mixwell got it, he just got a dekill. You know, he kept it out, right? So you give up that MP9, yeah, but you're not really giving him much firepower. So unfortunately for Fugly, he's not able to get any kills because of Mixwell's just ridiculous jiggle peeking. But now NRG, we'll see if they can, you know, win the second round, or this little force. I don't know, I think they still have money to buy into the next round though.
Yeah, they were actually pretty close. I think it was Marky that was down at like this 1900 amount that suggested that they would just full save here. So they are just going to take this one as a light bot round, with the exception being Peter. And again, most of their players defending over here towards the outer bomb site, just keeping Fugly to watch out there in the event that they go downstairs. Mixwell looking for his first strike here in T-Con, actually unsuccessful in singing the shot, but still not too big of a deal considering the investment that's here. And there we go. There's the lineup against Marky. Gets a little bit aggressive on top of the trains, and we'll see Mixwell grabbing the first kill there. But no aggression, extra aggression, I should say, from OpTic. They're just going to take this round nice and slowly. Since NRG on this eco, there is a bit of unpredictability to what they may be doing on the CT side right now.
Yeah, Rush getting pushed up at Ivy here. Guys coming out of ladder and team mid, so just a 2-2-1. Shot by PTR.
He has a chance to tag another player here, and he's going to go for it. Unfortunately, the shot not connecting now. He's only managed to bring Naf down a little bit low. Rush being able to finally finish off the job against Peter. And now it seems like the inevitable is going to occur here as Rush looking to see if he can find some of these guys. The rest of them basically just hiding back over here down towards CT Small, but I think NRG are going to move in to try to hunt this down. If they can scavenge a few of these guns, Fugly and Breezy sneaking in for 2. They tried to recover that op to take it back on the rifle as well, but didn't really pan out, so now we're even into a 3v3. Rush is a nice lineup, though, outside of Ivy, and he's going to dispatch of 2 really quickly here. Fugly and Breezy both go down, and now it's all on Professor Chaos in the 1v3. Sitting at the back of this angle here, Rush, more importantly, retrieves that op, gets it out of the potential carrying hands here of NRG, but oh, tags him as well, almost takes him down on the retreat. He survives that with 8 HP. Professor Chaos will just be happy with the AK, and no one is even going to be remotely close enough to contest. That op also does go down, so it won't be saved by OpTic.
How the heck did Rush die there?
The bomb explosion.
Yeah, but wasn't he deep Ivy?
He had 8 HP, but
Oh man, he must have went more towards hell or something like that. Like on the other side of it, and maybe he died that way, because I don't think you die if you're like deep Ivy like that. But so that's unfortunate for OpTic, but they, you know, at the end of the day, it is 3-2. NRG had a good eco there. They got 3 guns down at the end of the day, and were able to salvage an AK and half armor on Professor Chaos.
Molly is going to hold back Mixwell. Ooh, this was a big rush early on here from OpTic to get back here and hold some control, so that does put a stunt on their plans a little bit. Again, nothing too huge, though.
Yeah, but look at Fugly's utility. I mean, at the start of the round, he used a smoke, a Molotov, and a nade. Like, just first 10, 15 seconds of the round. So, you know, Inner is one of those maps where if you could use your utility properly, a lot of the time you can make it, you know, you could hold just off that. He just uses his right away, so he's going to have to really need help, like, backup-wise, right? He's going to have to rely on his teammates, and they're not even rotated at all there. So if anything comes, you know, Inner early right now, it's going to be a very difficult task for him to hold.
And Peter nor anyone else is even sitting at the Z rotate position too, so it is going to be, you know, a couple seconds to buy time for this rotate to move in. For all we can see on the minimap right now, OpTic are 100% going to be committing themselves over here to this site. So Fugly actually just backs up. It just lets them in. He's going to let them go for the plant, and he'll play over here towards the bottom barrel of upper, give him some time for his teammates to rotate in. Peter's still here, catching them on the cross. He knows he's another one sitting back there. They actually, Rush in this case has to use the smoke to safely get across here. Fugly knows that they might have pushed up a little bit, but has been unable to spot the most important one, which is Naf. And we can see as a result of that, he does some great damage to Peter, bringing him down just a few HP. Finishes off Marky too when he does re-peek back out, but a trade rolls in. Rush is still impacting though from the backside, being able to take down Breezy. So it's a 3v2. He gets super aggressive, and look at that from Rush. Beautiful transfer onto Peter to finish the job on him, despite bringing him lower earlier. And Rush just finishes things off as well. He ends up with a massive 4K, and OpTic now tied for the lead.
Yeah, 3-3. NRG should be saving here now. And even though their stand-in and coach in Professor Chaos is having 7 kills right now, I mean, they're looking like they're going to give this half in control of OpTic. OpTic should, if they don't have too many deaths here, have a pretty good, you know, bank account going into these next rounds.
Tarek down at 60 HP already. They just trying to go super fast here out on towards A. Race car speed. Professor Chaos and Breezy being able to trade a few of those kills, but for the most part,
shots.
Yeah, cleaned up very well by OpTic. And Fugly, well, he may try to sneak down the ladder here. If he goes down towards it, Rush is waiting. Already spotted his foot and falls back basically to kill him on the drop down. Even gonna bounce the nade up. It's a bit awkward there. Fugly dodges quite a bit of the damage. They're like bombing.
Did you see they threw a nade through the windows as well?
They really want him dead for some reason. Just a deagle.
They really want him dead for some reason. True. It's a psychological factor. Blue.
Yeah. Just trying to get him to fear nades for the rest of the game. Well, they had all actually counted him back out. If he had a kit there was actually no one on the site. But thankfully he doesn't, so we won't see the ninja in that case. He just goes in, actually picks up a UMP, and like no one from OpTic actually pushed all the way through towards Inner, so he manages to survive with that one and gets out of there successfully with the UMP, so he has himself a free gun for this round if he chooses to stick with it. Pause will come in. I believe this will be of tactical nature from NRG, but I'll get confirmation on that in a second here. As they're going to need a moment to figure things out, since it's been, I think this has been a straight 4-round streak from OpTic, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think so as well. NRG just struggling a little bit on this CT side. They're going to be able to be fully bought up, though. I think they can afford an op on PTR as well. Op half armor with no nades. Yeah, 5450, so he's going to be able to afford that. And OpTic just kind of a lot of big rounds by like individuals too, right? Rush with that huge 4K at Inner, that was like exceptional, but has really sparked this kind of comeback. And hopefully for Fugly's sake, and the round that they won, that they had no miss this one. You know, when they killed Fugly at upper. Pete pushes upper right away, kills Tarek. The start of the round, so it's 4v5, and just a big advantage for NRG right now.
Peter, nice flick really to find that shot too. He wasn't even originally aiming at him. Mixwell gets himself into a battle with Breezy here outside of the connector.
Far out he was. He was between the 5 train right there.
So he impacts heavy cost to his own HP, but he gets out of there too. No one is in a position to trade him. And now he's still going to play around with him over here on the A-bomb site. In fact, they may decide to go out onto this site specifically because they got that kill instead of going towards Inner, which was the original plan. Peter certainly being an impactful player over there, so not wanting to test the waters with that again. Mixwell just gets himself in a position outside of Ivy here. Professor Chaos misses the peek from Mixwell here. If he had peeked about a second or two early, he might have actually been able to spot him. He still suspects that something is here, as Mixwell's just hiding behind the server right now. But everyone else from NRG is still spread out. Thankfully, most of them are within close proximity to the A-bomb site while still only having Fugly inside. Peter had rotated, but now he's going to go back through CT, and he's coming out towards the B-bomb site as a couple of nades were tossed in by those guys in back halls there, and the rest are going to push out through T-Con here. It's Naf first up to bat, leading the charge, going through the short lane, There's no one going to be present against them here. Mixwell moving up too. I think he spotted Professor Chaos as he was fully focused on a T-Con push. Marky traded, but look at how low he is after he finds that trade. 20 HP. He needs to try and flash out one of these players if he wants to successfusly take him down. You can see him just committing to these sprays. No, nothing he can do about that nade. He sees his own death flashing before his eyes there, as now Peter is going to be trying to hold this angle, but missing that shot leads to his own demise against Naf. For Fugly, completely detached from all of this over in the B-bomb, so there's not a whole lot that he can do, so it is going to be a 5th from OpTic.
Yeah, and one of the reasons Mixwell was able to make it 4v4 in that situation is because he knew the Opper on NRG was inside, and he could probably safely assume that there was another guy there accompanying him. So he's like, hey, I could even this up. I could probably get a clean gun battle with someone outside, gets really aggressive, is able to get that frag to make it 4v4, and then just a perfect Ivy lurk on Professor Chaos. I think Professor Chaos probably made a footstep when he was making that peek, kind of made Mixwell be like, okay, there's one guy pretty close at Ivy. Let's make sure my teammates can make some type of a contact and come out with the lurk, and played that very well. Rush, meanwhile, him and Rush are just the key to OpTic's success right now. I think when Marky got, I think right before that happened, I think he actually might have dinked Rush unless PTR legged him in the back, because Rush had about 15 HP after that nade. So Marky almost holds from the bomb site, but you know, after that Ivy kill happens, it's a really difficult situation to be on.
Yeah, NRG will be essentially broken here with the exception of Fugly having the investment. They still are able to get themselves a semi-decent half by though. You know, Armored Deagle for a lot of these guys, and Peter getting himself the scout to try and play with. It's heavy focus on the outside site still, and this could work out as this is where OpTic has been throwing a lot of their aggression towards. But you've also been playing with Inner. It's actually been rather unpredictable, and the core players from OpTic have been showing up once again. It's Tarek, armed with the op. This time it pushes in, has himself a free opportunity to try and take down Breezy, but kind of is scared by it. Originally doesn't catch it. It's Naf that actually finds the kill this time. Marky swinging back out, but swings a bit too far, right into the scope of what is that? Peter finding the shot and finishing off Peacemaker there. Peacemaker found in a really weird situation once again. But now Fugly also connecting another kill on a Tarek brings us back down to an even 2v2. The bomb very quickly kind of rushing itself down to the B-bomb site, where, granted, they have control. But Peter and Fugly, we'll see if they decide to stick with this, as actually Mixwell's going to walk right up, finds the free kill onto Fugly, and now that's left alive is Peter, sitting in CT spawn, who is going to try and jump back up here. I'm not even sure if he realizes, yeah, that the site control was fully given there to the backside. So Rush will get that last kill, and it's OpTic now doubling the scoreline of NRG and up to 6 overall.
Yeah, not a bad round from NRG. You know, because they have money bonus, they just kind of half bought there. They didn't really spend that much money. OpTic, though, even if they lose this round, they're going to be able to buy into the next one, and maybe the next one after that, depending on if they get the bomb down or not. But, you know, Rush is playing out of his mind right now with 15 and 4. Looks like they're going to do 5-6 in the E-box smokes and try to, Mixwell might try to work outside a little bit, but they are just kind of setting up in, you know, 2-1-2, I believe.
Peacemaker already trying to make the move here, but it's actually Peter that gets the better of them. Finds the shot onto Peacemaker, and Professor Chaos also striking as well back over in his position. He's able to take down Mixwell, and it already leaves OpTic down with 3. Defense on the B-bomb site, though, is still mainly based on Fugly, and he's caught retreating. So that will open up this site to them. Professor Chaos is able to counter out Rush in the meanwhile over here, and they had the bomb position with them. They got upper control, but the bomb was an Ivy for some reason. So now the dynamic has completely changed, and it's Tarek and Naf trying to recover from this. Has left to push towards it, and essentially a huge hornet nest of energy players if they want to win this and still take control of the round. It's Tarek leading it as Naf kind of watches for a flank in the old bomb tunnel. With the pop flash going back out there. They'll start this push, and again, the flash not really connecting. Peter already being able to find one. Tarek trading it. The missed op shot does give him the credence to push back in and take down Peter, but Professor Chaos is sitting on the outside, and we'll put an end to it.
Yeah, 3K by Professor Chaos, so he's showing up, man. I mean, that's their coach who's 11 and 7 right now. And he's actually doing a very good job at Ivy. I know Mixwell lurked on him once, but that's really the only time that he hasn't, you know, played well there. I mean, against the Deals, he's consistently performed and gotten his kills that, you know, he's supposed to get. Fugly, meanwhile, is the one that's been struggling to enter. He's not really getting any kills on the rotate or anything like that. He's using utility too fast generally, but this round does it a little bit differently. He's there with PTR, so PTR taking a peek, dies to Nap, just running across. You expect the op to get that kill. Mixwell kills Professor Chaos, but gets traded out by Breeze. And Breeze with this team mid control now could actually kind of change this round a little bit. They know Ivy's open, but now the T's, since they know team mid control has happened, if they want to take back control, they're probably going to have to make noise. So NRG could actually keep 2 towards inner right now.
And at the moment, that's what they are going to stick to doing, is Marky plays towards this primarily. Picking up the op as he does retreat into a better position here. He wanted to go and scout for intel before, but the rest of OpTic are very decidedly trying to move in for control here, and it's as NRG are rotating back out too. They're sending everyone towards Z and letting them just go back in. Fugly is even caught in the meanwhile, so now Marky's going to swing back in, but he doesn't even realize just how many of these players from OpTic had pushed back in. Maybe a false assumption that there was really only one or two of them going for it, so that miscalculation cost them big time, and it's going to be OpTic that'll take this round.
Yeah, and I think they had the right idea at the start to keep 2 inner there. And I mean, I know OpTic ended up with 4 there, but really what counters you there is if they, for whatever reason, walk down ladder. They walk through team mid, or if somebody walks backside to Ivy. But at that time, you don't think anybody's Ivy, right? Because you would have thought they would be out by now, right? So you think, in my mind, if they're going to go outside, they're probably going to make some type of noise. They're going to pop flash team mid or something like that. And Breeze is going to be able to hear that because he put that team mid pressure. He got that kill. He smoked the end. Now the hunt is on for Breeze, but he hits a great shot onto Tariq. And then I think you just kind of gamble it, you know? Instead, they mid-round, like, already OpTic's going to be in position to hit whatever they want, and then they decided to play a retake B. And I think that was a mistake.
So this puts OpTic back into really great control overall this half now. 7-4 on T side, we should mention as well. Where normally you see them sinking behind a little bit on a generally CT-sided map. NRG going into this with what they can, as we can see CZs and 5.7s and even a P250 coming out there for Fugly. Peter has the op, and he's making big impact with it, but the problem is it's been rather inconsistent due to how aggressively he's been trying to play with the op. Sometimes he utterly fails and it just gets knocked out, giving them a free op, and other times, well, it works out. This time we're going to see some more aggression, and all of it up through the halls, leading out into box halls, though. They find one frag against Fugly, but then it's immediately traded out here. Now Breezy playing up close, getting one with the CZ, only 2 bullets left, so he does have to reload here, but he's got a teammate to help him out over by the E-box lane. Breezy gets the reload, though, picks up an additional kill, and now it's Nath looking to hold 1v4, but he can't do it. Marky picks up the last kill, and NRG somehow sneak that one in.
Yeah, I mean, just pushing ladder and team mid, everybody kind of just getting up close, and PTR's kind of opping in the back, right? So all 4 of them just collapsing on outside, and OpTic makes the wrong call, right? They wanted to go outside, but they delayed it a little bit. It allowed NRG to get close up. It allowed them to push inside above the ladder, and they all just get caught around like the Hell area, Olaf area against up-close pistols.
Well, Professor Chaos will go for the dirty peek again, and he connects the shot, but it's not a full kill. Only legging Tariq, bringing him down to 15 HP, while he himself takes about 40 overall. Fugly, all right, freaking out a little bit there. Fugly's actually been having a pretty rough time overall in this matchup.
Yeah, he has, and I don't know if he's a normal inner player in his other teams, but OpTic's just going quick inner right now.
So we could see some of the visible frustration there on Fugly as he continues to kind of miss these opportunities for entry. Professor Chaos, in the meantime, now sinking a second for himself right there as he takes down Naf. Took down Rush just seconds before that one, too. And even Breezy catching one here. Mixwell trying to trade it out, but he can only get that one frag. And for Peacemaker, well, let's see if the standing can do some work here and pull off a 1v4. Not going to happen. Fugly finally getting himself another kill. And we do see NRG pushing back in to be able to get up to 6, closing the gap and within 1 of tying it.
Yeah, did you see Professor Chaos there? When he gets 2 kills, he legs the other guy. You see, like, his aim is good, his movement's good, his positioning's good, he's pretty swift. I mean, look at that. Like, not many coaches who are standing in can perform this well. I know he didn't get any kills on, like, the CT side of Cash, but he knows how to play CS at a high level, so it's just, I mean, he's top fragging for him right now, and you can see why.
Just have a coach that can do both.
Yeah. Get you a coach that can do both.
Can lead and he can frag.
Yeah.
Well, OpTic on to essentially just an upgraded pistol round here. Mixwell's the only one that buys armor behind his buy, and the guys from NRG handling it pretty easily, as we can see here. Already 4 kills for them, and Breezy tapping into that last one there after missing the spray. Eliminates Peacemaker, and we're 7-7 going into the 15th round.
Peacemaker having a rough one, 1 in 10 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of to be expected, though, considering that even when he was originally, if I recall correctly, coaching for Immortals, we never even really saw him play before that, so.
No, I mean, you don't expect him to be able to compete with these guys, but, you know, it just, you could tell, like, there's just a huge difference, right? There really is. There's a huge difference.
I mean, literally top and bottom of the scoreboard when you look at Professor Chaos versus Peacemaker right now. As he's sitting up there with Breezy. Marky's actually a little bit more quiet this map, but it's also been a much more competitive map overall, so that can kind of be justified.
I mean, if NRG wins this, like, this is huge for them. I mean, to make playoffs, they're going to have to take maps off these top teams, right? And OpTic, you know, when they have a 5th, you consider them a top team. And because NRG, I feel like they're one of those teams that might drop maps to one of the lower tier teams in the division, you know, every once in a while. Meanwhile, like, I don't see that from Cloud9. I don't see that from SK and a lot of these other top 6 teams. So they got to pick up and make up for that by beating teams like OpTic and taking maps off them. And if they can end up winning 2-0, I think that really is like a huge swing in whether or not they make playoffs or not.
Well, Breezy getting himself a chance to frag back out here once again. Doesn't realize that they're pushing in below him, though, from the other side over towards E-Box. So Tarek is going to knock him back out. Marky, he's going to be next at the bat as they push over there towards the short lane, leading up towards Ivy. Peacemaker, though, actually grabs the frag onto him. And now Professor Chaos, he does get baited out into taking a shot there. And actually, I think messes up his scope a little bit. So Mixwell is going to be able to finish him off when he goes to the full swing peak. It's Fugly and Peter that have to try and work something on the 15th round here. They will be going for it. Peter in position to try and punish Mixwell, but he's actually holding this pretty well right now up until that point. Peter does get the frag, but a lot of time wasted in doing it, and now distracting a lot of it. Fugly trying to push back in, but he's been cornered from 3 different angles here, so not really a whole lot of hope for him to do anything there. Rush will finish off the round, and OpTic do manage to sync together one more. They lead 8-7. It's identical to what we saw back over on Cash, and we'll have to see if this time they can follow through and close out on the map after this short commercial break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA. It's time to finish up our last map of the evening and for the week as well. NRG versus OpTic has been an interesting turn of events with 2 stand-ins, 1 for each team, and both of which being the respective coach for said team, but one doing significantly better than the other. And overall here now on this second map, leading to a much closer matchup as this is one of OpTic's better maps.
Yeah, after Peacemaker got that last kill in that last round on Marquee, he typed LOL easy.
Definitely didn't do that, but
no, he didn't. But that would be funny if he did.
a little bit of tilt there.
Yeah,
but
I think this is going to be a lot more difficult for them on the CT side, though. I know Train's normally a CT-sided map, but playing with a stand-in like this and one who's frankly just not their skill level at this level, not even really close, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult, especially on a map like Train. Train takes a lot of teamwork on the CT side. It really does. It takes a lot of communication. You really have to know your angles and what everybody else is responsible for, and you really have to be able to count on your teammates to get their frags.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you opened up a good point actually in the pregame before we actually started this map about who would take the very important job on the CT side of being the solo inner player.
Yes.
If my memory is a little bit fuzzy right now about the qualifier or about the IM group stage last week, but if I do recall correctly with Hiko, it wasn't like a one-to-one transition where Hiko took control of it. I think, if I remember correctly, they actually had Rush taking that position.
Did they? I thought Hiko was playing it for sure.
I'd have to remember quickly. Well, we'll see here in a moment because I highly doubt they're going to give Peacemaker that responsibility.
We'll see. I don't know what you
That would be a huge risk to do that. I'm pretty sure NRG is going to go inner every round.
I don't know if it would be a risk because I think Mixwell could back him up and maybe put him in a position where he could just get 1 kill like every time.
Yeah.
Or maybe let him spot and then play retake. Where else do you do it?
Well, let's
I think Inner's actually probably the best spot.
They're putting him
because
Inner.
you could have Mixwell help.
Yeah, they're putting him there.
Okay.
So for right now, at least in the pistol, that is going to be the case. More than likely, that'll follow through into the actual rounds too. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was actually Hiko that played Inner. Just said that was a while ago, and those games were also at like 3 in the morning, so it's a little bit hard to recall. NRG though pushing in pretty quickly here, and Mixwell trying to assist from the backside. Peacemaker firing off shots from up on top too, but not a whole lot connecting really on either side though. It's basically back and forth, and now we have a 5v5 fight. Professor Chaos super aggressive. Same with Marky, they're giving him these kills right now. Mixwell and Peacemaker, and now Nap finding a third. Fugly and Breezy sitting in the back box halls, but they don't have a Molotov or anything to hold this back off. They're stuck here, hoping that they can get some more kills, but no, they're just getting obliterated one by one, and Rush will finish things off with the last frag. It's a 5-man alive pistol victory from OpTic, and they're going to get to keep control of their lead for right now.
Yeah, they will, and that was a mistake by NRG. I mean, I know, going Inner is fine, but the way they got pushed up, I mean, they're just holding W. Anytime you're holding W as a Glocker and a USB or peeks you, like, you're probably going to die, and they're just holding W down the lanes without any support from flashbangs or anything like that, and just running right into OpTic's pistols. That was really easy work for the OpTic side. And look at it, like they're playing retake Inner. Tarek's actually going to be up or pushing up, I guess, to get a spot. And this should stop any type of plant or anything like that.
Tarek inside of Boxhalls, even as this smoke to support him too. He's got to watch out that left side. Yeah, he's caught. The timing just doesn't work out. Peter, he's going to be able to take down Tarek, eliminating him. Peacemaker's here now, but again, he's being super passive. He's just kind of weaning himself in and out of Z right now. Mixwell goes in first. He takes actually the first contact about the retake. This nade hopefully kills one of them. There we go. Connection on a Fugly at the very least, but still, they've got a long road to recovery. Oh my god, Breezy goes for the triple tap though early, and that gives away his position, so Rush is given a chance to spin back around, and now it's all falling apart. Peter's the last man standing, and it looks like OpTic will be able to hold control of this round after all.
Yeah, they're just going to defuse. But NRG did save there. They were able to get that kill and get the bomb down. So even though it looked like they were going to do more, especially with Breeze with that Glock, I thought he was definitely going to get that kill. But he missed the first burst right there. That kind of did him in. So they still get like a complete full buy. Pete might even be able to have an off. No, it doesn't opt for it. So Professor Chaos still just had like 2250 left in the bank. But yeah, not a bad eco for NRG.
We have NRG pushing forward though, again, pretty decisively towards the box halls. They have kept the bomb and one additional player just outside of Ticon though, so an argument is opened up now for them to try and go for just a default execute too, keeping both of the options open. Naf got aggressive this time, pushing himself out through Ivy and smoking it too, but not really finding anything there, nor would he have found anything even if there was any players here, as they all decided to play passively and sit pretty far back here. So now though, smoke's being applied over here towards the ladder, and it was just as the T's had thrown their smoke out outside of spawn too, so it actually does kill this plan unless they want to try to aggress through it here, which is not looking likely. In fact, the bomb has now gone all the way through the White Halls, and they're going to try to push back in here. Peacemaker, he dinks Fugly and does a little bit of damage to Professor Chaos, but not all that much, and he unfortunately will go down without a trade to show for it. Now Mixwell falling back in to support him. A lot of smokes in the lane, but I actually think Mixwell can abuse this right lane a little bit here. The smoke is not perfect. Looks like there now. Peter, okay, apparently he's going to kill Fugly, so a little bit of confusion within the site. That brings them down to an even 4v4. Naf as well, still hunting, but Marky has a monster flank being opened up. Tarek impacts with a kill, but that's going to make it all that much easier for Marky to find. He's seen the bloodstain, gets the kill, wanted to wait a moment to see if he can see anyone else behind him, but not the case. However, there's another flight coming in, this time for the CTs. Mixwell and Rush, combo kills together. Marky still trying to impact, but he's alone. And in that 1v3, he won't be able to impact any further. And OpTic push up another round here.
Yeah, and when Marky's flanking Z like that, you usually, because he flanked from ladder, right? So you usually don't expect anybody to counterflank. But Rush was in T-Con, so he goes all the way through white walls. It takes a long time, but it was well worth it. Catches him in the back, and honestly, even if that player's sight didn't, was able to get his kill, Rush probably would have traded on him instantly, been able to get on the bomb, and Marky would have no chance to kill the diffuser. So a pause coming out, I believe, for NRG, and OpTic looking good, man.
Yeah, unless it's technical, this will almost certainly be NRG's tactical usage of a pause right here. Money's, a little bit iffy. You can kind of see him here on the screen now. They're tossing around some guns. It's just going to be Tech 9s getting donated, and they might pick up armor behind that. It's a quick pause, though. It's already been resumed, and we are going to be jumping back into it here now. But you can see, again, very, very skewed score lines over there on the OpTic side. It was NRG last time, where it was Breezy just kind of hard carrying. This time, look at Rush. This is his map, man. He destroys here, and he almost has triple the amount of kills currently. He has deaths, 23 and 8.
Yeah, and NRG is a team that buys very conservatively compared to a lot of teams. They opt for saving when you think when other teams would buy. A lot of the time they're saving. They play very conservative in that aspect. So they offer Tech 9s and armor here, and we'll see. They got in great positions last round. They definitely was positioned to win that round. They come out upper, they get pushed up pretty far. Mixwell, is blocked off from the smokes and everything like that. And you think they're going to win the round. Marquis' flank looks great, and then the kills just don't go their way. So we'll see if they continue to put this inner pressure on them. Peacemaker is getting supported by Mixwell. But what does that mean, right? It's like you could put inner pressure and Mixwell is going to lean there. Does that mean Outer is going to be easier to hit in that case?
Well, now we do have them all pushing in, but OpTic so far pressed forward, and they're doing massive damage. Breeze the last one alive, but it's not going to be that way for very long. Rush and Tarek have a beautiful cross spray angle, and they completely decimate the entire attempt at a push from NRG.
Wow, that worked out so well. Because Tarek's on the left side of there, and he's taking first contact, so the guys coming out ladder are looking at him, but then they don't see the player at E-box at all while they're running through the smoke, and it's just like the easiest kills.
Now they think with no problems at all. So now NRG getting themselves another buy. Some compromises needing to be made. In fact, utility is a little bit limited here. Mixwell trying to play aggressively. He goes past the flashbang here, but he cannot actually kill anyone. He only does decent damage to Professor Chaos and Fugly. And afterwards, again, that is control for NRG to go down towards the B side if they want to. OpTic, though, actually had pretty heavy commitment towards inner as a result of that push. They were split 2-2 a second ago. It's going to be 3-1 now, with most of their guys still worried about an outer hit. And again, keeping, I believe it's going to be Naf as your guy to watch over there towards inner.
But they have nobody team mid. They have like nobody keeping any type of map control, and Tarek might be able to leverage this into a round win. I mean, I believe Professor Chaos is watching if he pushes all the way through, but now with two guys in team mid, they could, lean a lot more towards inside.
Professor Chaos is also relatively low here too, so it wouldn't be that difficult to try and knock him back out. Markey is going to be rejoining though, and they push them back in, but now they're going to run into this issue of the aggression in T-Con. They may start to expect it, just considering they left it open for so long, so it wouldn't be very hard for these CTs to push back up and take control, but they're set up now to defend this rush on the other direction. He does have to look a whack away, but it's Professor Chaos leading the charge. Markey trading out one more to go, and he one-taps him. Rush goes back down to the ground, and it's NRG in control of things currently. Naf and Peacemaker have to try and pull this off still as they rotate over from the other site, and Peacemaker specifically probably going to be coming down ladder flank in a moment here, or just going all the way through with it to try and come back in through T-Con. Naf completely detached from everything though over there on upper towards B, so they actually might not even attempt this and just look to save instead.
Yeah, I think they probably will. They're going to have enough money going to the next round to buy. Definitely, if I was them, I would probably try to get an exit or two. I think Peacemaker is positioned pretty well for it, but he instead falls back all the way into T-spawn, so we'll see if he's able to kill Fugly here.
Fugly pushing himself out, but only for a moment. He holds pretty safely.
They must know he's here because they have 3 people checking it.
But no one actually going back. They're checking around the corner here, like towards the Ivy push and something like that. So I don't think they know that he's sitting back
I guess
in the corner.
not. It looked like Fugly was like jiggle peeking it and was like, all right, I know this guy's here. I'm going to wait for backup, but I guess not. Thought maybe he made noise around the steps area or something like that, as Markey gets that very critical, crucial kill onto Rush in order to win that round. Had Rush gotten that kill, it would have been a lot more difficult for them to win. Just being in the 3v3 like that, with team mid already in control while you're planting the bomb.
Now for NRG, though, splitting back up. And again, very little Ivy presence at all throughout this entire half so far.
They just like kind of give up team mid though, and Tarek's recognizing it, and he's wanting to take control.
Peacemaker also positioned up over here at the top of the ramp, but not ready for the fight. Fugly actually reads it very well and is able to take down Peacemaker, which opens up a big hole in the V-bombs, and if they want to go for it. It's a quick rotation that we'll see from the OpTic guys. Both Rush and Mixwell rotate in to defend it, so they are split evenly, 2-2 across the map now on the defense.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try to group up, maybe throw outside smokes from here or group up towards inner. I'm not sure, and do like a 5-man take. We have Mixwell holding the inner with an op pretty passively, so they'll be able to get the bomb down if they hit it. And now they're going back, and 4 guys leaving the white walls with 1 above ladder.
Everybody else is trying to move their way back in. The one that's going to be pushing ladder too is Fugly at 19 HP, which means that probably not going to be looking for too much success in that regard. The rest of NRG, again, they're focusing mainly on that Ivy and T-Con push, and Rush moving in very promptly to defend it. It's not only just him sitting here either. They're also going to have support from Naf a little bit further back. Smoke's covering off a lot of the angles though, so it is a bit dangerous, and Rush goes right into that flashbang, so has to retreat. Thankfully, no one else has pushed back through, but that's going to change now at the hands of Breezy. Tarek looking for some trades here, getting one, going for the second, but no, Professor Chaos picks up the frag against Tarek, and Naf just firing off pot shots all over the place into that smoke. Mixwell is going to give himself away here in Z, but Naf with a 5-7, able to counter trade that on to Breezy. Now it is just Naf. And with 7 seconds left, NRG are a bit rushed to get that bomb onto the ground, but that'll also send Naf out into the open, where Peter can sink the final shot to take down Naf and put NRG up to 9.
Yeah, and OpTic's money isn't too good. It looks like they're probably going to save here. And that was really smart by them, man. They made it 4v5. They kind of waited. They didn't have team mid control. So you know what they do? They say, okay, we don't have team mid control. Let's put Ivy pressure. And that kind of makes, if they do have team mid control, right? A lot of the time they don't have somebody watching Ivy, you know, because they might like lean someone towards team mid or inner in that case, because you don't really expect an outer hit if you have somebody in team mid, right? So that was pretty smart by them. They go towards Ivy. They just do like a pretty normal type of outside split, you know, after making it 4v5. And they played the clock a little bit dangerously as Mixwell gets popped through the wall by Pete. But, you know, it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, popping him down to 26 HP, but he will just safely kind of crawl back into the site. And NRG still taking things incredibly slowly here. Now, they do want to play this cautiously. There's a heavy stack. Now, going into this default that they executed into the last round may actually prove to be a pretty big mistake, since there is a full gamble stack from OpTic sitting out on this A site right now. Peacemaker first contact down over here in the ladder room, but there's 2 more of his teammates sitting directly behind him. They are Rush as well, trying to challenge things, but just getting tagged. They absolutely get the better from here. Nope. Trades at all in terms of damage. Professor Chaos still kind of investigating into the box halls too. They realize this is open, they can call off or even just use their Ivy push as a distraction to the actual hit downstairs, since the bomb is still kind of at an in-between point to where they can take it to either side. Breezy starting the Ivy play, getting some good damage on the Nap, but this is all we've seen so far is semi-decent amounts of damage. They haven't actually killed anyone, nor have they taken any actual map control. That's going to change now, though, as Marky and Breezy work together to go for outer play. It works out perfectly as it's 3, now 4, now 5 kills. Indeed, it's Breezy that gets himself a nice 3K on it to put NRG into the double-digit range.
Yeah, and how many rounds have they won in a row here now?
Let's see. Open up the score UI really quickly to take a look at that. Oh, in a moment.
Replay first?
Replay first. But yeah, Breezy coming in through Ivy there and basically single-handedly managing that. But yeah, let's bring the scoreboard up really quickly so we can see how long of a streak this has been. It's only been 3 in a row. It's relatively short. They were down at a 5-round disadvantage, but now if they win this one, they'll be within 1 of closing it out, and probably will almost have that guaranteed, as more than likely OpTic are going to have to go into another eco.
Yeah, and NRG, again, it just seems like they don't mind just giving up team mid control at the start of the round. If OpTic really wants it, they just have nobody contesting it at all. But OpTic not able to take advantage. They take ladder control right now, peeking E-Box is Marky. So he has control of that. They have 2 outside of team mid. Looks like they're going to throw some type of smokes. And then I think it's going to be an outside fake to inner.
NRG pushing into it here now. Molotov to watch out for any upper pressure. They're not going to spot any of that. OpTic will be ready for this one, though. They've got 2 guys in the site here. Peacemaker and Naf to play this one out, but also Tarek quick on the rotate, too. This will be playing close to either Hell or Heaven. NRG, though, still slow on this one as Marky's sitting back down at the bottom of that ladder, looking to see if he can find the impact, but finally the smoke comes through. Does block off Naf's vision. Peacemaker trying to get prepped for it, but there's also smoke at upper. He can kind of see through the bottom right corner of that one, though, if they try to go in for it. So he's paying attention, but now he has to change his gaze. But the problem is he's not ready for it. Fugly finds the impact there. Naf does catch Fugly for a trade, but now on outer, Marky and Breezy finding more kills. Mixwell, what are you doing, though? Out in the open, 2 kills from nowhere. Marky and Breezy both have gone down. He's looking for Professor Chaos, tries to no-scope it, but now he's down at 6, somehow still alive. He tries for the drop-down frag. That's not going to work out, though. Professor Chaos knocking him out. It's all on Naf. He's isolated it to a 1v1 after finding Peter out in the open by E-Box, and it's up to him versus Professor Chaos now, but he doesn't want anything to do with this. He's running over into the B-bomb site, and he's going to prioritize the plant there, even mollying off his entrance point. Taking his time after he does get the bomb on the ground. He wants to get close to play this out against Naf. Will Naf realize it, though, as he turns his back, and that will seal his fate. Clutches out the 1v1, and NRG do push themselves up to 11 within 1 round of tying things up.
Professor Chaos, man, the MVP. MVP of this map right here. Nice job against Naf. I mean, you could tell, like, he's a good CS player, man. Like, this proves it. I haven't seen him play in so long, and he's playing very well right now. Now OpTic just goes full save, basically. They just have some deagles to work with. Almost gets the 1 deagle on the PTR. But 3 deagles, a PT-50, and a USP.
It seems like overall across this NRG roster, you have a lot of guys that just individually on their own are, 1, not afraid to try and make super aggressive plays, and 2, they can actually do it fairly consistently too. Peter, a little bit more on and off, but still can pretty consistently, like, you know, go for a really aggressive peek and hit the shot. Breezy, we've already seen it in the last map, just how crazy he can be with entries. Professor Chaos as well, with some of these clutches that he's bringing out, just his consistency across the board is actually pretty good, even though he's just the coach. So when he needs to step in, they've got that going for them too. But anyway, we're into the action. Rush actually finding some decent impact here, finding 3 kills now before he finally goes down to Breezy. Peacemaker's the last man standing, hugging this corner. They actually haven't seen him yet, so no one suspects him to be in this corner. What? No! I have no words.
I would take a timeout if I'm NRG right now, just to, like, laugh.
What did...
Oh, no. It is.
I can't...
Wow.
Oh, you'll find out in a second he took this timeout. Because that is
pretty funny.
I mean, either way, it's like OpTic needs this pause because they're probably on tilt right now. And NRG needs this pause just to get over the comic relief from what just happened there.
I mean, they took inner, right? And Peacemaker was the lone inner player for that long. So he was at Spindle while everyone was fighting for like 30 seconds, just waiting for himself to make that move, just waiting for his opportunity to strike, to get that kill. And then it finally happens. It's like the, you know, just a free kill. And then bam, just
So the pressure got to him,
accidentally
man.
jumped.
They
Well, I
hyped
mean, he
him
was
up for it,
waiting
too.
for like 30 seconds. Like, people were pushing sidewalk, they were pushing upper and whatever. For like 30 seconds, everybody's battling it out. And he's just chilling there, just waiting. And then finally he gets his opportunity. So, that sucks. That sucks.
All right, well, again, eco round for OpTic is still not necessarily the worst situation that could have panned out to be at the end of the day. They still managed to take down 3 players. OpTic getting into this next one here. Now they have a double op setup, full rifles for everybody else, along with decent utility across the board here too. NRG, big stack, and if Naf sees this, that could be a really early call to rotate back in, which could be great for OpTic to work off of here on a retake. But still, Fugly first at the bat. Naf really passive about this peek into box holes right now. He wants to find them up on the top ladder there. Molotov comes back in, but he still thinks they're upstairs. Marky's just going to destroy him right there. Down will go, one of the 2 ops here. But they had all been spotted, so it may cause a slight delay in this actual take. They're still going to go for it, but just waiting a moment here so they can try to set up smokes and whatnot.
Yeah, 5 guys towards inner. And nobody has control of any other side of the map for OpTic, so they do have 2 towards inner, but one of them is Peacemaker.
With the flashbang here now as they do push back in, finding the kill, but then traded back out from upper. Another kill comes in from NRG. It's Marky picking up Mixwell, and it's after Mixwell has also eliminated Peter, but because of the first kill against OpTic's favor, this does leave NRG with a slight advantage, and they're going to capitalize on it even more as Breezy does push back in on the flank, takes down Rush. Tarek, we'll see what he can do. He does catch Fugly jumping there, so he'll dispatch of him, but Breezy was up on top of the train.
Inked him.
Yeah.
Nice shot by him, but no. They are on a roll as NRG. think that's how many rounds in a row now?
That should be 6, I think. Yes, 6. So certainly looking to be in control after OpTic won the pistol in the first few rounds there. But just going to be back and forth on the ecos and buys. The arduous process of being a CT and losing rounds. There's no bomb plant to recover your cash, so they are just going to be working with the upgraded pistol and armor buys for this one. And only a few little bits of utility too. They really don't have a lot to hold back with whatever NRG want to do. So instead, they're playing outside. You can see it, they're playing hyper aggressively right now. They've got 3 guys up at T-Con, and they want to chase these kills if they can. But once more, NRG have not really taken an active role of pursuing early T-Con controls, so there won't be a lot to find inside of there. Naf, though, we'll have to see if I think Breezy kind of stopped his motion. So Naf is probably not going to get this opportunity here. Flashbang pushing out. Well, now he's got a chance trying to line it up, but it's not going to work out. Breezy finds the impact against Naf. And now the only things remaining on the outside side is that 3 stack. Now by ladder room as well. They had it around T-Con before, but now they've changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, mix well below the ladder, and since they're on this left side of the train yard, if they do anything out Ivy, and they have 3 people here, so they probably will, it's going to be very T-side advantage just due to all these long-range shots. You know, in the 2.57s and ladder, they're going to have to hope that they can kill this guy if he does even decide to come down.
Well, as they push back in, Rush waiting. Nice shot from him. They don't even realize where it comes from either, so he's got a chance at another one. Won't pan out, though, but Tarek did pick up a kill, and now he's got an AK to work with. That'll be short-lived, though, as Marky immediately catches him out, and it's just Peacemaker sitting back over here behind the ticket booth with Z. And yeah, Marky's waiting for the peek from there, so he'll also get that second kill to end it. 14-12, and this will be OpTic's really their last chance, as they are going to have enough cash to reinvest here, but after this, the force-up obviously won't be that great.
Yeah, we'll see, and I still think they need to just get aggressive at certain parts of the map. I think team mid, you know, NRG really isn't contesting it. If you can get in team mid, even if you don't stay there, as long as you get inside it, then you could lean towards enter, you know, because of what I said before. Most likely, if they take outside, they're going to use nades to clear it close and whatnot, and it'll give you some type of tell if they're coming outside, and then rotate over, because really you need somebody inner with Peacemaker, like you really do. You can't just leave him on an island alone, so you need to make up, you know, because of that at other parts of the map.
And I think they were giving it to Tarek on T side here, but I've noticed now that for the double up setup, they actually have sent the second op over to Peacemaker to try and utilize. So he'll be playing up on top of the tanker inside of B to use that. But we won't actually see any action towards B for quite some time. This NRG again are lined up for probably right now. It's just your basic like T-con slash ladder drop to execute out towards A, but that may be changing since we have a lot more guys going into the White Halls right now. In fact, everyone is up there. They don't have any presence in T-con at all anymore, so this could just be another 5-man push to enter. And I mean, you can't really blame him for it, considering the fact that, again, the Peacemaker's going to be there, and he hasn't really been able to find impact, especially under pressure here. So if they can just continue to push that, and it works out for this last gun round, then they've got their ticket to a nice 2-0 here.
Yeah, and they should be able to at least get the bomb down. Now, the question is, how far do they push up, and how quickly do they do it? Because they have a double op setup, so they're essentially playing retake right now, and they want to get into their faces.
Well, it's really passively from OpTic here. They actually don't try to challenge anything at all. Mixwell can't even spot through this through the sandwich on the right side there as it's been smoked back off. Breezy, super aggressive too, getting all the way up to where the smoke wall is positioned. The guys over here on OpTic are looking for responses. Marky even sees one on top of the yellow train, but unable to respond to it. It's actually Peter that finds the first shot. Marky trying to respond to it, a very aggressively pushing Nap, and now he's found his way through. Breezy, though, 2 quick headshots. Peacemaker and Nap both go down. Rush is available for a trade, but now he's the last man running, 2 of which of NRG's players are still sitting over here in the back box stalls. The only one that's actually out on the side is Professor Chaos. Rush, though, being very cautious of essentially anything being pushed against him, trying to watch her flanks and whatnot, and he knows he needs that rifle for what could be the last round, so he's just going to give this one up, fall back, and look for the save. It's NRG going up to map point with a massive comeback after they were down at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and the inner retake does not work well for OpTic at all. I mean, Breeze is able to get behind the Z train just very early on in the round. They get behind, you know, Summit, behind Oil. Pete's backing them up at lower ramp or Pop Dog or Sight, just opping around there. So anybody on NRG that takes a shot, essentially they're going to have teammates that are going to be able to capitalize that and back them off. And it's really uncomfortable to retake that inner bomb site when they have that close-up control. Not only that, I mean, one flash lane between between any of the lanes, and you can get blind as a CT, and then all of a sudden Breeze could peek, or whoever else is getting pushed up can peek, like Marky or whatever, right? So it's very difficult to stop any type of to have any type of retake when they're set up that far.
So a tactical pause from OpTic, we can only assume, as their last buy here, as mentioned previously. I mean, it's actually not the worst. It's not, it's not like what we kind of expected it to be. They actually have decent utility, and it's all UMPs and rifles, so they at least have that going for them. Nobody has to downgrade to pistols.
Well, not much has been working, so maybe the umps will.
When all else fails,
yeah,
SMGs don't.
And you could just use any weapon you want in this game and like have a viable opportunity to kill people.
So for NRG, pushing everyone over here, or quite a few of their players early on over here to the box halls. Smokes will cover off the push itself across the ramp, so it's probably going to be held up for a couple seconds. But ultimately, again, they still have quite a large amount of their players sitting up in the box, or in the white halls already, getting ready to push into that. Peter's the only one that's down here sitting outside of T-Con. Actually, no, excuse me. I thought they'd pushed those two upstairs, but it's not the case. They actually have both Breezy and Marky sitting here, so this is where this could lead into just the default style of execution. The thing is OpTic have a lot of aggression leading out, specifically with Naf there. You can see him, he's already pushed out towards Ivy. So that could be a very early flank they'd have to deal with if they're not paying attention to it. Smokes executable, not coming back in, so they will move out for it. Rush completely blinded by the flashbang. And Peter even seeing this flank coming in from Nav, so he's going to be able to handle that. The third kill from Fugly. It's not looking good at all for OpTic here, as both of their remaining players are restricted over here to behind the bomb train. One's going to push back out. Fugly sees that one coming. There's one more to go. No, he doesn't even realize he's there. So a bit of a slip up, but not going to be the biggest deal in the world as they can completely overwhelm him. He's cornered. There's nowhere to go, and that's the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. NRG will take control of this set and this second map, and they go 2-0 for the night against OpTic. Previously, one of, and at the end of the year, I guess you could say the best team in North America.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of them, right? Without a doubt, top three. But, like I said, when you have a stand-in like that and you're playing CT side, especially on a map like Train, everything was looking good. They had a pretty good T side. They got a few early CT rounds, and then all of a sudden, they just got hammered. Especially, always putting pressure at Inner, if you noticed, every single round. Even if they were going outside, they would throw nades towards Inner. They did a double fake once, right? Just putting pressure there. Fugly going down, killing them, and then running back into their outside take and things like that. And on that CT side on Train, it's so difficult when you have, just a stand-in and a coach playing who can't really hold his own versus, the players of NRG.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us this evening. To close out the night, we're going to send it back over to our analysis desk. So, guys, take it away.
Hey, I know the feeling all too well, Blue. It's all right. I feel you, man. All right. So, I mean, where do we start with this one, right?
I mean, there's a lot of things to grab a hold of. I think if you want to start off on a positive note, I think OpTic did a good job of keeping it simple on their T side, and that's why you see them actually having a pretty decent first half. Altogether, they did simplistic stuff that would work, that allowed the core four of OpTic to kind of do work, which especially Rush having a great first half. And I think that was the recipe for success. I think when it went over to the second half and on the CT side, it became too much of a mission of babysit Peacemaker to see if he can have an impact more than actually trying to hide him away on any other part of the map. I think putting him on the inner bomb site was the wrong way to go about it. But it's an easy way to go about it, because obviously if he does that, then every other player on OpTic is going to have their usual position to play off of, which they can be comfortable in.
Right, but that inner bomb site is most definitely it's
an
vulnerable.
issue.
Yeah, I mean that's a hole in the defenses there. I mean,
yeah, massively. And you can see so many times that OpTic would compensate for that by just stacking with two players inside inner. Normally you'd have Stan or something just playing solo.
Well, we're going to take a look at round 4. Just an eco blunder here. Let's pull that up in front of you.
Yeah, so this is one of the mistakes that NRG made this game. And when you see two people playing on the inner bomb side, especially Fugly in an aggressive position, you would have expected Peter to flash through for him, or at least play aggressively to see if there's anyone to spot. Peter, though, when he smokes off, he pulls back. I think at that point, Fugly needs to pull back as well, because the way they're set up after Peter falls back and Fugly still remains, there's no chance of actually getting any sort of trade fag in that kind of a situation. And this leads to OpTic not just only getting a bomb plant, but eventually actually getting a round win off of this. And that's what started OpTic's run on the T side. And one thing to consider as well, NRG got really lucky to actually get off to that 3-0 start, because that pistol round never should have happened.
Right.
So yeah, no, a couple of lucky breaks in that sense for NRG to get to that point, but also, you know, mistakes like that will cost you versus a team like OpTic. And there you see what happens when those 4 players who are on OpTic, you know, really get to work, what they can do with limited amounts of utility and weapon.
No, absolutely. No one has said that these guys can't frag. No one has said that they can't play. I mean, they're obviously immersing themselves in the game. They're playing rank S. They're doing this and that. But right now, they're just in a hard spot with the team, and that's really all it is.
And what's going to be exciting to see as well is because going forward, you expected this to be a team that could make it to the finals. Now, who knows?
Now, who knows? Obviously, a little rocky for them. But you know what? If you just tuned in, you actually just tuned in a little late. But you can watch the VOD over at youtube.com/ESLCS. That's where you spend the majority of your time, correct?
Pretty much. On off days, that's where I'm at.
It's weird out here in LA.
Not a lot to do, you know. Small city.
Yeah, it's a pretty small town. Population of not that many. Yeah. And I guess I should just add that they're probably all watching those VODs as well. So, you know, we're going to recap here today's matches. And, I mean, some of these are probably going to stick out to you more than others. Take a look right now. Obviously, the SK Luminosity game went pretty much according to plan.
Yeah, it really did. SK showing up, even though they ran into a bit of a bump in the road with having to play with Dead for the first half of Cobblestone, managed to come back from that. Or they were never really in big trouble in that sense, but you know, they steered clear of any issues, so they're still undefeated in Pro League so far. And the second matchup, you know, you got to tip your hat to NRG for actually pouncing on the opportunity here.
Well, the cool part about, at least in the train matchup, was, hey, the real impact player there was Professor Chaos.
Well, yeah, he got them off to a great start. Once eventually they got into the second half, Breeze joined in on that fun as well. But Professor Chaos, especially with his op, really set the tone for NRG early on.
No, 100%. We're going to take a look at the standings now as we do close out week 3. Let's take a look at North American standings to kick it off. SK sitting strong at the top, 8-0. They have yet to lose. They could be on that path for the 25-1, the 25 or 26-0. Like who
this
knows?
Season's Golden State.
It really could be. Not far behind them, we've got Liquid Cloud9. NRG on their way up through the ranks with the 2 Ws they got tonight over an OpTic, who are, you know, obviously in their own struggles and hardships right now, slowly slipping down to a number 7 spot. And then at the later half the pack, we're seeing wins there for Rush and Complexity, Winter Fox, and Selfless at the very bottom of the board, though.
Yeah, Renegades picking up their 2 first wins of the season today, and Winter Fox's first map as well. So, you know, things are starting to look slightly up for everyone on the table, I guess, in that sense, on the lower end.
Well, on the other end, instead of the lower end, we've got EU standings right here, so we're going to pull those up now. And I mean, right away, you look up here and you see Mouse Sports, and you're like, well, what the hell's going on here? What happened?
Yeah, and the crazy part is they're not just doing it by barely scraping through with wins. You can tell that by the round difference. They're, you know, beasting teams right now. Yeah, they're really doing it. So maybe Nico was the problem all along.
Well, now Nico can be the problem with Keo, who is also was the problem, right?
That's really what, yeah. So, you know, you have the Suicide Squad. FaZe Clan can be the problem squad.
It's honestly, it's weird how that works. But, you know, obviously the top 6 do make it to the LAN finals, as we did just look at that. Are we on path? Are we on par to what you were thinking coming into the season so far?
For EU, definitely not. Definitely didn't expect Mouse Sports to be up there at 7-1 by now. For NA, it looks a bit more normalized in my eyes, but still there are some surprises in there. I mean, with this, or with these 2 map wins, NRG are now what I think they were 4th or 5th, 5th, I think. So already they're getting up there and potentially knocking the hopes out of someone like OpTic.
Absolutely, and obviously OpTic needs, you know, all the help they can get right now.
Yeah, because it's going to be a rough time forward.
Because it's a long path for OpTic to make it to the LAN finals in Dallas this June, I believe, the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, that's correct.
In June, ESL Pro League Season 5 finals will be in Dallas at the Verizon Theater. You should get your tickets right now at www.proleague.com/Dallas. How about that?
I mean, if you have the chance to go, do so. It's going to be an experience of a lifetime.
It really could be, really should be. But before we close this out, let's kind of touch on your favorite matchup of this entire week.
It's quite a few to look back at, actually. Liquid, Selfless was one, but obviously the big match of the week in that sense, Cloud9 versus Immortals.
No, absolutely agree. And we actually have a pretty cool clip loaded up for you guys from that matchup where FNX does just work here. Let's take a look now.
I mean, this is absolutely absurd. This is not supposed to happen, and I think Dace might have called it the best round he's ever seen. And, well, it speaks for itself. So it's absolutely insanity. And at that point, you would have been happy with it, like, oh wow, what a round. He got 4 kills, but FNX never done.
Definitely high noon, right?
Yeah, he's really summoning his inner McCree in that sense. But this is so cool to see from FNX as well, coming in from, I guess, a bit of a background role in SK, and now just firing on all cylinders here for Immortals.
Right, and we talked about this in the past a little bit. If he can stay on that trajectory,
sky's the limit.
Yeah, sky's the absolute limit. But if we do see how, if it doesn't turn out that way, if he kind of teeters off a little bit, then, we don't know what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting times ahead for. Gotta love the translation or the added text. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it pans out for Immortals. But from what we've seen now, and it's all positive signs.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, Vendetta, here at the close of your first week of ESL Pro League in North America.
Overall, very positive experience. Good weather. Some actually pretty surprisingly nice CS as well at times. And
believe it or not, it happens around here.
Yeah, it happens. And I think the continuation of this is going to be pretty wonderful.
No, absolutely. And we'll be back next week. We'll be back every week this month to be quite clear right now. It's there's no break this month.
That's true. Yeah.
We're not breaking for LAN. We're not doing anything like that.
It's all EPL.
So with that being said, let's make sure that you guys are back to join us next week here at the ESL Pro League Season 5. I'm Stunna. I'm signing off.